First, a note to our mutual host, Rocky. I know that Karma and I have been talking about something you posted a while ago, so you're probably kind of deluged with notifications about our postings. Kind of sorry about that. It's a lot of little red numbers to deal with. Kind of a wash. I'm sorry about that. Just product of the system. I did want to take a moment here to give you a particular thanks, both for your constancy and for your patience. You're always putting things on your wall here on Facebook that show you care about the world you live in and the people you live with. And the educational and thought-provoking things you post are always great. In this case, Miss Matilda Jocelyn Gage made the statement that wherever we find laws of the state bearing with greater hardship upon women than upon man, we shall ever find them due to the teachings of the Church. And I took some exception to this. Unless the efforts of lawgivers be considered universally misogynist, I listed 4 examples where the laws of the state produce direct harm to males of the species, couching these examples in semi-biblical language to better meet the criteria provided by Miss Gage. Most of the ensuing dialogue can be seen, though it seems Karma, our mutual friend, has deleted many of her previous posts and acted rather irresponsibly towards some of mine. That being said, Karma. As it appears that my previous communications had improperly carried my emotional content, and rather than try and correct it once again in a text, I'm making a video here so that I can say things I'd like to, and do so in a way that doesn't provoke you calling me smug or childish again. Thus the choice of moving from written word to video. It will be harder, I believe, for you to project your emotional content onto what I had tried to make clinical and logical and scholarly. Now to the meat of the message I had thought about posting originally. Karma, I'm sorry. The things that I've been researching and writing about earlier have left me rather raw emotional. I've only recently realized that this emotional state has left me debating from a position of internalized misogyny, succumbing to the darker demons that I have come to know and detest over the years. But I've sat down now and thought about what I'm saying and how I should be saying it, and I've listened to the better angels of my nature and returned to the stance that I try to hold, that of reasoned, fair-minded feminism. In doing so, I'm going to have to hold you to the same standard to which I've held myself, in that I both know what I believe and why I believe it. When you asked for sources, I provided them post-haste, and the sources I provided were, in order, 2 issues of curated and edited journalism from established sources, a direct interview with an acclaimed statistician, a bibliography of 572 scholarly investigations and empirical studies, a foreign study with the same findings, a recommendation to look up interviews with a long-established authority on the subject with staunch feminist views, and then 4 state-wide surveys of legal bias on gender lines in courtrooms from Virginia, Massachusetts, Florida, and California's guide, which not only included the findings of its studies of gender bias in courtrooms, but also recommendations for ways to repair the faults that are expressed in that state. Unfortunately, When I asked the same of you, not a single source was cited, and I can no longer express my long internalized misogyny and treat you like less of a debater. I can no longer extend to you the benefit of the doubt. I must, as a feminist, treat you as my equal. Rather than address my facts, you have disparaged them. Rather than provide your own evidences, you have called me smug and, somewhat ironically, childish. Rather than look at these aspects of reality I have shown, you've removed your comments and flagged mine as not being within community guidelines. Karma, I love you, ontologically, for your very being, with something as close to agape as I can manage. I also love you as my long friend, with phileo both offered freely and returned to you, for the wonderful family you've helped create in our community, and the little spot of heaven you've built in your garden here in Warren. But I'm having trouble understanding. I hope so well that the sadness that I've had to experience when I was looking up the sources, both earlier that I could formulate these opinions and now again, so that I could recite them for you, would be conveyed, but the pain that all of these people, these thousands of people who've registered their experiences with scholarly surveys, who've told their stories to social workers, who've been banned from seeing their children despite their best intentions. Oh, it's the kind of stuff that just eats you up. And I was very distracted by this emotional content. But until you start actually debating me on my arguments and start treating facts like facts, all I can feel now is confusion and disappointment. I'm assuming that you have some kind of bias which prevents you from agreeing with my findings. Fine. People have biases all the time. But being unwilling to even consider the fact you might be wrong is something so far from my own experience. I'm bewildered, and frankly, a little saddened. I only hope that in future you'll be able to behave and debate with more consideration and more rationality. My pain is but a faint echo of those that I have looked at today. But, oh, the fact that you would seek insult rather than truth pains me. And I'm sorry we both were a part of that.